It's finally here. I finally have to do a video about it. Hello and welcome back to another video here in the LEGO Room. I hope you are well. Today I'm going to discuss something you may have already seen, but due to our holiday I didn't quite have a chance to cover it when it was officially unveiled last week by the LEGO Group. I'm of course, if you didn't get it from the thumbnail, talking about the new $1,000 Death Star. Now, we've known for some time what this was going to look like. I think when we all heard the leak, and I remember covering it about this time last year, maybe October, November time last year, we all sort of assumed, rightly or wrongly, it would be a sort of mix of the previous Death Stars with the sort of interior of the 2016 Death Star and the sort of early Death Stars panelled version, sort of combination of the both styles of Death Star. I think that was only kind of fitting, given that this is, of course, 2025 that we're in now, the year of 2025, and the idea of sort of combining the two things probably was what we were all kind of expecting and all hoping for, and I certainly was in that camp personally. And then as sort of the rumour started to develop, maybe it was a couple of months ago, that this was not going to be a conventional Death Star, this was indeed not going to be a sphere, I had a hope, and I've heard one or two people echo this hope, that it would be kind of what we see now in terms of a diorama front with a half sphere back, and that sort of rumour floated around for some time, that it would be a sort of sphere or half a dome, a bowl almost, that you could display, and with loads of diorama scenes on the inside. And obviously what we've got, if you haven't seen up until this exact moment in the video, if you haven't seen it online, if you've missed all of the talk about it, all the different promotions about it, this is of course what it looks like and what I am talking about. And as diorama packages go, and somebody who's done diorama mock series on the channel this year, diorama series, I actually think it looks pretty good. I think the real issue here is the fact that it does not feel like a Death Star. Now this set is going to clock in at 9,000 pieces, 9,023 or 25. I should have wrote that down and had it just to the side of camera, but 9,000 pieces and 38 minifigures, and we'll sort of dive into that a little bit. I'm not going to deep dive into all 38 of the minifigures, but there are some sort of some good things in here, but there are one or two things that are just not good enough at all in my personal opinion. The price is of course the main talking point with everybody. This is $1,000 US. I originally when I did the conversion, or Lego math conversion, said that this would probably clock in at about £820. That was in a video about a year ago. As time went on, and with tariffs and everything else that's gone on this year with price per piece, and where we're sort of at with Lego inflation and shrinkflation, I sort of thought it would be about £850 here in the UK. It actually is going to be £899. It's going to be a £900 set, and this of course for me kind of proves the point that price per piece really isn't everything at all. It really is kind of a bit of a one way of measuring things, because of course price per piece, this is actually kind of dead on. It's 9,000 pieces for £900. 38 minifigures, you're going to get that sort of plaque stand, and the plaque stand looks fantastic, by the way. You've got Galen Erso and of course Director Krennic on there as well, which I think is a fantastic way to do a Death Star plaque. The other 36 minifigures we'll dive into. A lot of people unhappy with the lack of stormtroopers that are going to be in there, the lack of sort of arm printing and leg printing on certain minifigures. These aren't the best versions of some of these figures that we've ever seen. A lot of repeats in there, which is of course natural. We've seen a lot of this stuff before, and I'm thinking of course of the stormtrooper versions of Han, Luke, Leia's sort of get up as well. R2 and C-3PO are always going to be chucked in there as well. The throne room for the Emperor as well, very very similar to the one you can see just to the side there. You can see the little cheese man on there, which always sort of gives me a little crack of a smile every time I see him there. It doesn't look too bad. You've of course got the Easter egg of the Stormtrooper bathtub from the Lego Star Wars game as well. I think as a diorama piece it looks pretty good. If this was a £500 set, I would be all over it. I think this is perfect. As somebody who creates dioramas, done a whole series about it, will continue to do some more before the year is out. It looks fantastic as a display piece, as an adult, and I think that's where this set will do very, very well. adults with serious disposable income who can quite easily drop $1,000 or £900 or 1,300 Canadian, which sounds bad, but actually probably not quite as bad as the sort of US or Euro price point, which will be at the same price point. It's for adults with serious disposable income, and of course it's sort of got the cogs whirring for me to do more videos around what's next. I sort of covered it a couple of weeks ago just before the holiday break, and last year I did a bunch of stuff about Price for Peace and where we're heading in 2025, and I started to touch on it again this year, particularly in the mental health videos as well. I will continue to do a couple of videos around what this looks like, because this is no longer a kid's toy, and it's something I've touched on in a few comments in a few different videos as well, exchange of comments with people, which is this is no longer a kid's toy. And the sort of Reddit snap comments of it's a kid's toy, you should, like, as just to negate any argument of this is for kids, why are you getting involved? It's no longer for kids. It's never just been for kids recently, particularly since COVID, when they obviously had the adults welcome message and branding, and you're sort of seeing that come to fruition. But of course, what I go to as a mental health practitioner here in the UK is the effect that this will have on kids who, like myself, neurodiverse at the time, or ADD, now be branded as neurodiverse. The effect this will have, the lack of accessibility to Lego sets, I think this will have a serious effect. But this is a conversation for another time. I'm showing you the images of this set, and I also dropped some of the images for the GWP over on TikTok a couple of days ago whilst we're kind of on our break. I am so disappointed with this GWP. Now granted, the chances of me buying this on day one when I knew what it was were very, very unlikely. I thought that if this was a spherical Death Star, like I'd said maybe a year ago, I would be getting this on day one, and I'd be hoping for a cracking GWP. I'd be hoping for something like the mini build of the Death Star, like we saw with the Death Star 2 in the summer of 2023, or a lightsaber that we haven't seen in the lightsaber collection. I was absolutely loving getting Luke's lightsaber to go with the sail barge last year, and I was hoping for something spectacular. What we have been presented with, if you haven't already seen it, I will drop it on screen for you, is something that resembles somewhere between a 4+ build and a battle pack with only 3 figs, and there is a lack of printing on that TIE pilot. That, however, for me is not even the main issue. Quite frankly, whether it's got the printing or not, it doesn't bother me too much, because the TIE pilot is sort of big enough to go in the TIE fighter anyway that is being strung up in the images. The extra 2 stormtroopers, fantastic. They should have been included in the Death Star. I think there should have been a minimum of 10 to 12 stormtroopers in this Death Star alone before we even start touching the GWP. And the other thing that really seems to have divided people online, originally this set was shown on the website to be the image for the TIE Fighter was actually shown as part of the images for the Death Star. So it was actually already in there. It wasn't an add-on. They've actually taken that image off their website, which is fantastic, but I'm confused as to why that happened in the first place. Maybe it was a mistake. If you want this part of the Death Star, the part that would be to complete this $1,000, £900 Death Star, you have to buy it within the first 3 days. Now, I just don't agree with this at all. I think this is ridiculous. You can't have a £900 record-breaking, most expensive set of all time and it be incomplete by the fact that you have to pay full price on day one. I just fundamentally don't agree with it. And that is before we get into the fact that the set, in my opinion, does not look that great. I think this should have been included as part of the Death Star, and I think there's probably 1 or 2 other things they could have included in this Death Star. Maybe that is for another time. All this to say, and hopefully I've shown you all the images that we do have available, that I will not be buying this set on day one. I am a diorama person. I am a display person. I am somebody who loves to sort of create little scenes out of Lego, and I've literally done a whole set of videos, as I think I've said a couple of times already in this video, about creating little scenes, some of my favourite scenes. And of course, some of my favourite scenes as an original trilogy fan happen on the Death Star and the second Death Star. And I just cannot bring myself to spend £900 on this set. The real question is, of course, when and if I would get a hold of this set. This would require it to go on sale at some point, be it in a couple of Black Fridays time in 2026, 2027, 2028, or maybe on a May 4th in a couple of years time, and for me to have a whole bunch of points sitting in the bank just to kind of knock a couple of sort of swipes of £100 off this set. That is the time where I would potentially look at this set, and unless I become sort of financially really affluent, then I probably won't be looking to get this set. I certainly will never be buying this set at full price. That certainly will not happen. That being said, I can understand people who do want to go out and get this set, and I do believe it will be popular with adults with a ton of disposable income who want to get this because there is a certain amount of notoriety about having the biggest, the largest Lego Star Wars set. The most expensive Lego Star Wars set is, of course, a display piece for adults. So I don't think this will completely flop, but I don't see this selling particularly fantastically. I just can't see it. And boy, there is a whole nother video in where we are at with Lego Star Wars, and I've kind of touched on it already this year with the What's Next video, and I'll probably touch on it again in the next couple of weeks because I just fear we're not quite in the right spot with Lego Star Wars. It is a real shame. To end on a positive note though, however, I will, in case you haven't already seen it, the other set that is out on October 1st in just a couple of weeks time is the Gingerbread Christmas AT-AT. This set looks fantastic. I love the look of this set. I'm a huge Christmas fan, as myself, me and Mrs. Bricker are as well, and this will definitely be a sort of Christmas decor ornament in our house. I think it looks great. It of course goes fantastically well with that candy cane X-Wing, the employee gift from a couple of years ago. I'm really looking forward to getting hold of this set at the very start of October. I am really excited for this one. You get, of course, a little gingerbread Darth Vader as well. And this set is supposed to only be on shelves for 3 months until the very end of December. That is the original rumour, that this set will only last 3 months, kind of like the last couple of October 1st releases where we saw the sort of battle pack with QTKT last year that was only supposed to be on shelves for 3 months, and the holiday Millennium Falcon diorama that was only supposed to be on shelves for 3 months, and then it ended up on sale a little bit after into January. But we're going to probably see that with this set as well. Very excited for this one. I think it looks great. It'll be something really nice for me to get my teeth into at the very start of October when a lot of people are looking at that Death Star. Only £55 here in the UK and $60 US as it stands. Of course, only one minifigure in there, but nearly 700 pieces, 697 pieces in that set. So a very nice price per piece ratio, and of course you're paying for the build. Would it be nice to get some snowtroopers or some stormtroopers in a sort of candy cane variant, a Christmas variant? Would have been really nice to go with that Gingerbread Vader. But I will be grabbing this set. I will be picking it up before Christmas. You will see it on the channel. So that is a positive note. As I always like to be positive in these videos, that is a positive note to end this video on, because I think that set looks fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point in the video, it is sincerely appreciated. Do drop a like on the video. It does seriously help us out. And if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. There is always Lego stuff happening here in the Lego room. And there is going to be a ton of Lego stuff that needs to happen in this Lego room over the next couple of days as I sort of scan the room. It has just been left while we've been on holiday, and we do need to get some stuff done in here. Lots of builds, lots of things happening, loads of streams happening over on Whatnot on a daily and weekly basis. Please do consider subscribing. There is a ton of Lego content happening in this space. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the very next video.